Hello everyone, my name is Jamia Stokes and this is project number 4. And we're going to be just discussing homework 7.2 and 7.1. So first we're going to go ahead and start off by talking about 7.1 and decimals and real numbers. And it's a very simple lesson. The only thing we're really going to be doing today is just converting decimals to a fraction. And so the question is going to give you already a decimal, and they just want you, they're going to give you a fraction, and they just want you to switch it over to a decimal. So that's what we're going to be doing today, talking about how to convert them to a fraction, to a decimal. So I'm going to just give you 3 examples for right now, and then we're going to move on to something else after this. These are the 3 examples that we have so far. So we have 11 over 30, and then we have 11 over 60, and then we have 3 over 8 and 3 over 96. But right now, these are the only ones that I'm going to talk about right now, because I really just wanted to hit these first and then move on to the other 2. So we're going to start with A. So how to get it to be a decimal, right? You're like, how do you get 11 over 30 to become a decimal? And it's very simple once you realize it. So the way that I like to do it is I just like to divide the top number by the bottom number, and you can just use a calculator. And so you just divide 11 over 30, and then you just get 0.36. Okay, and since the 6 is repeating here, so you're gonna put a line over the 6 because it's a repeating number. All right, and that is how you get the first one. So for the second one, 11 over 60 is the same thing for all of these, very, very simple. So you just divide 11 into 60, and you always divide the top into the bottom, okay? And so you're gonna get 0.183. And once again, the 3 is a repeating number, so it's also gonna have a line on top of that one. So 0.183 is your answer for B. And for C, you have 3 over 8. 3 over 8 is our question. And like I said, they're going to give it to you in a fraction just like this, but they just want you to convert it into a decimal. And so your job is to just divide the top into the bottom, and then you get 0.375. Okay, for your answer. And that's your answer for C. All right, and for D and E, you're going to have, oh wait, it's just D, sorry. So you're going to have 3 over 96. Okay, 3 over 96, and you're like, wow, that's a big number. Why do they have that such a big number? Still the same thing, still the same. So you're just going to divide 3 into 96. You always divide the top into the bottom, and that is how you get your decimal. And so for ours, in our case, it's going to be 0.03125. Okay, and that is the answer for D. And so these are very, very simple. It's going to be the same thing every time. Like sometimes in math, you do one problem one way, and then the other problem is a completely different way. But for these type of problems, they're all going to be the same. Like when they're asking you to find the decimal, to find when they give you a fraction and they want you to do a decimal, you just do the same thing each time. It's nothing different. So that is that part. So let's move on to another problem. And I actually have this problem already pulled up, so I can tell you exactly what the question is going to say, and just so you can look forward to that and remember exactly what the question is going to say, so you know what to do. sometimes when you're taking a test or you're doing homework or whatever, like, I know I had problems with, you know, I knew what to do, but I just didn't understand the question. The question would be like worded really weird, or I just didn't understand like what it was talking about. So, and I would get it wrong because I didn't know what to do. I knew the math, but I didn't understand the question. So the question is, it says write these decimals as fractions in lowest terms and determine the prime factorization of the denominator in each case. So for A, 0.056, and then that is automatically a fraction of 7 over 125. Okay? And then it wants you to find the prime factorization of the denominator. So the denominator, as we went over in a couple lessons before, the denominator is always going to be the bottom part of the fraction. Let me write it to where. So in our case, the denominator is a 125. So the denominator is a bottom and the numerator is a top. And so just when they say either one of those, you already know what it's talking about, because you're going to say, oh my God, I remember that from the last lesson. So 125 is kind of a big number, but not that bad, not that bad of a number. So let's write 125. And so they just want you to find the prime factorization. So they just basically want you to do a factor tree. So to save time, we're not going to do a factor tree, but the factorization of 125 is going to be 5/3. So 5/3, in other words, is just 5 times 5 times 5. Which is 125. Okay. And then B is going to give you 0.045, which is automatically a fraction of 9 over 200. And so they just want you to find the factorization of the denominator, which is 200 in our case. So that is going to be 2 times 2 times 2, which is 2/3. Which is 2/3. And then 5 times 5 times 5. 5 times 5, which is 25. Which is 5 to the second. So that is your factorization on 200. And so your factorization would be 2/3 and 5/2. Okay? So this would be your answer. So it's just all about understanding the question and knowing what exactly they're asking you, because sometimes they can word it weird, and then you just want to understand. So just really take the time and learn your vocabulary. And once you learn your vocabulary, it will be 100 times easier to understand the questions and to understand what is going on, what they're asking. All right, so let's move on to homework 7.2. Very simple lesson as well. Nothing too much. So 7.2 is computations with decimals, and yeah, this is a lot of decimals that we're having to deal with. We deal with decimals in 7.1, and we're also going to hit decimals a little bit in 7.2. So 7.2, we're going to talk about how to put these decimals in order from least to greatest. So this is homework 7.2. All right, and so our first example is going to be 0.011. All right, and this is not in any order. This is just how the problem is written. Okay, so this is just how the problem is written. This is not in any order. Maybe I should turn it this way. So this is just how the problem is written. So you have 0.11, you have 0.001, you have 0.011 again with a line on it because it's a repeating number, and then you have 0.021. Okay, so we just have to put these in order from least to greatest. So which one do you think goes first? Which one do you think is the least out of all of these numbers? So I'm gonna turn it this way so we can write it in, so we can actually write it in the list. So which one of these do you think is the least number? So the first one, obviously, is going to be 0.001. That is going to be number 1. Okay? And then for number 2 in the list, it's going to be 0.011. And then for number 3, it's going to be 0.011 with the comma, with the line on it, because it's a repeating number. And then for the last one, because this is a really big number, is 0.021. And so that is how you put the numbers in least to greatest. Really simple. You're just going by basically the first or second number, whichever one is after the decimal, just looking at which one is the bigger number, and that is the one that is going to go first. So let's do one more like that. So for this one, this example, 29.412. It's going to be, this is just the question. This is not the order. 29.312, 28.999, and then 29.412. All right, so this is our list, and we have to decide which one of these is gonna go first. So let's take a look at them. Let's take a good look at these numbers to decide which one of these is the smallest. So if you look at all of the numbers, they all have 29, 29, 29, but you only have one that's 28. So that is going to be your least. So it's going to be 28,999 is going to be your first one. So let's mark that off, because we already used it. So that is gone. So let's look at the other ones. So you have 29.4, you have 29.3, and you have 29.4. So obviously this one is going to be second, because of that 3 right there is going to make that second. 29.312. So let's mark that off. All right, and then you have 29.412 and 29.412 left, but these are not the same. They're not the same number. They're the same numbers, but this 29.412 has a line on it because it is a repeating number. It repeats itself. So this one's obviously going to be the bigger number. So this is going to be last. So in that case, this is going to be next to last. So 29.412 and then 29.412 with a hyphen, because that is a repeating number and that is the biggest number of them all in this case. So very simple, very simple. And like I said in the beginning, you really just have to understand the questions, understand what exactly are they asking me, so I can, you know, not do too much work, but just do the right amount of work that they're asking me so I can get this question correct. And you can get all your points that you need. So I think that is all I'm gonna hit on today. Don't I really have time to hit on anything else right now, but I hope that I made this as clear as I can, and I hope that you understand everything I talked about and you took notes and you got it. So I just want to say thank you for watching and have a good day. Bye.